Yo, 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 yo! What's good, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode of my podcast, the Mario Operandi Show. What's good, everybody? I'm here. This is my first time doing a podcast in English. Obviously, I've been working on my YouTube channel. I talk hoops there. It's been really fun for me the last couple of months. I started my YouTube page like 2 months and a half ago. 2 months and a half ago. Um, it has been really successful because I've been doing um, dubbing the interviews from the finals. I did a over voice, obviously in Spanish, which is my mother tongue, which is obviously something that I will be touching a little bit later here in the podcast, which is my passion of basketball and English. So the first thing that I really wanted to I really want to start the podcast with is talking about a little bit of my history. Um, I I entered college when I was 17. In quote unquote, I took 2 years off, like vacations, like partying and doing things like that, and then I started studying English pedagogy, which is something that I think when the time passed, I think that has been one of my greatest decisions ever. I was able to meet great people there, some friends that I still hang with, and we have a great relationship there. Um, but really, I have never put that much attention to English before. Obviously, here in Chile, we studied the language during school time here, but it's really not something that people here pay too much attention, obviously, because we don't have. It's very difficult if you are interested in English during school time. Um, there were some debates in some things like that, but I wasn't really interested in doing things like that. Um, the one thing I was really good at was remembering things and concepts, obviously isolated words, but nothing else. I never went to an English academy, anything like that. But obviously, in my last year of high school, I did an English like um, it's like a course that you took, like how can I say it? Um, it's like you choose between sports, art, um, and I choose English. So that really helped me um, at that time to understand a little bit about this language, complex, very very complex language. Um, so that was the only my only interaction with the language. Then I started in 2015. That was my rookie year, studying in English pedagogy. I can't lie. I can't lie here and tell you guys that I was a really good student, but I think I did fine. I think I did pretty good. Um, my my methodology was like going to class, being there obviously, and trying to develop some type of work ethic, obviously, because I can say now that I was really interested in English over or more interested in English over the fact that teaching the language or being a teacher. But that was something I also did. I did some classes, and I've been working, and also I have um a job interview on Monday, virtually, which is something that I have never done. The last time I did a job interview, it was in person. It didn't go well, but that's a topic for another day. The thing is, I never failed during my time studying English pedagogy. I never failed to any courses or any. So I did my 5 years. I finished. I got my diploma. Um, but then after 2019, when COVID hit, and obviously I wasn't able to graduate the traditional way. Um, in 2019, after finishing my career, I started to dedicating myself more and more to the language, and obviously to learn and to practice more and dedicate more time to be better at this. Um, Obviously, I was aware enough to know that in the past, when I was in my fourth year, I wasn't really prepared to do something like this. It has been um, 7 years since I've been studying this complex language, as I said before. Um, but now I really feel that I'm able to do something like this, and to be better, because obviously the first time that you do something, it might not be the best version that might come out of your production, but is in you, the opportunity to be better and to grow. So um, this is my first ever episode. So that's when I started to dedicate myself more and more to English, but specifically to sports and how media covers sports. I started to watch a lot of North American um, debate shows, and that was really important for me because I was starting to. Um, I put myself like in a bubble where I was able to watch a lot of um, TV shows and podcasts about basketball, and I started to learn a lot about different journalists, obviously, and people that work on television. I'm gonna name you guys the list of some shows that I watch and some podcasts that I listen to. Um, the first one is I start my day obviously watching First Things First with Nick Wright and Chris Broussard, Kevin Wiles. So that's on Fox Sports. I also watch I watch all the time Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. I watch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd. Speak for Yourself with Emmanuel Acho and Marcellus Wiley. I watch The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Brother from Another, Michael Smith, Michael Holly. I watch The Dan Patrick Show. I watch the Rich Eisen Show, Real Ones. These are podcast, Real Ones with Logan Murdoch from The Ringer and Raya Bell. Um, the Draymond Green Show, What's Right with Nick Wright, the Crossover NBA Show with Chris Mannix and Howard Beck, the Hoop Collective podcast with Brian Winghurst, Bill Simmons, the Rainy Russillo podcast, The Void with Kevin O'Connor, the Low Post podcast, Out of Pocket, the Dunker Spot, Dunktown Basketball podcast, No Dunks, The Old Man and the Three, Jenkins and Jones podcast, Weekends with Was, Basketball Illuminati, that's one of my favorite ones. Filtro 360, that's a Spanish show, not a Spanish, a Puerto Rican show. I'm sorry. Filtro 360 with Hidel Padilla. I also watch The Playmaker. They do a a rewind every time the playoff games. They were doing some analysis, so that was great. And Ritmo NBA, that's a show made that is hosted by Alvaro Martin. He was an announcer for many years here in South America, doing work with ESPN. So obviously, I try also to watch some shows in Spanish, but the majority of my time I try to pay attention to some of these podcasts and shows. So that's my story behind all of these platform that I created that is named NBA La Chilena. Obviously, when the idea popped off my mind about doing a podcast, I really wanted to do it first in English, but obviously, um, I don't know why I created a YouTube page, and I started recording with my brother Damian. I gotta say that he was really important for to start this platform, helping me obviously because it's different. Now that I have some type of experience doing recording and doing podcast, I can do it by myself. But at the beginning, when you don't have any experience, it's very difficult for you to. At least for me, it was difficult to do it by myself. But obviously. We started recording before the playoff this past season. I also did my NBA ballot of MVP, DPOY, coach of the year. So that was really I was really doing it. Obviously, with my background, watching all these shows, I have never went to a journalist program, but I consider myself a quote unquote journalist because I try to do this to my very best and be very meticulous about this. I try to follow other people obviously and learn from other people that have been doing this for a long time. So I created this YouTube page, and then the finals came. An idea came up again to my mind, and I decided to do the interviews of the players in Spanish, which was something that it was also challenging for me, but I was really interested in doing it, and I think I did pretty well. Obviously, um, the first interviews, maybe they weren't as good as I maybe would like to um, to have done it, but I did pretty well over time. And obviously, then in that moment during the finals, doing the interviews in Spanish, I gained a lot of subscribers. Now the channel has over 2,000 subscribers. So it was really amazing seeing that people that really like the content, and seeing also that my channel was the first channel that has that type of content, because every in South America, obviously, we have a lot of people that talk about basketball or consider themselves as analysts, but they don't do stuff like this. They only talk about topics, obviously, and trades and all the things like that. But I'm very happy that I was the first one to do this. And obviously, during this upcoming season, I will be also doing interviews of the top players: Giannis, LeBron, Stephen Curry, obviously, and that's gonna continue. So I'm very happy with that. We also doing a little a little like a little show with fashion related with fashion, and that's gonna be also interesting for this upcoming season. And then obviously this day marks the first episode of my podcast in English. Today is July 15th, um, 2022, and I will be talking about some movements and that we saw yesterday. The first one is the Andrew Ayton. He was offered a huge amount of money by the Indiana Pacers that lasted for about 5 hours, and then the Phoenix Suns matched the offer, and they were able to keep DeAndre Ayton. He was playing very well up until 2 years ago when they went to the finals and lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. But I think it was important for Phoenix if they wanted to keep competing and being contenders on the West to keep DeAndre Ayton. The other one, Austin Rivers, the former Denver Nuggets player, he will be playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't have. I'm not sure if I have another sign. No, I don't have another sign. That's all I have in terms of the market. Obviously, I do my show in Spanish, and this is gonna be a little bit different. Obviously, I went 17 minutes deep on some type of background and history of myself, and now I'm gonna be talking about a little some topics here that I have. The first one is I was recently watching the Point Forward podcast of Andre Iguodala and Evan Turner. They had a guest, Job Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, they are on the top of the media. This is the summer of the Golden State Warriors, and he said a lot of things, but one of the things that really stuck in my mind was the fact that he was saying that you need to take risks in order to be successful, and also be smarter, because you have to try to be the best. He also mentioned that they built the arena privately, which is something that is really remarkable. Many teams in the league try to do like a collaborative job with the city, and so that way it lowers the cost of the production of the arena. But I had to give a lot of credit to Job Lacob. I think it's one of the owners that we need in the league. I think we need more people like Job Lacob, because they are trying to build excellence and trying to build a culture of obsessiveness. And I think that's really important, being obsessive about different things, and that's also a thing that a takeaway from Kobe's interviews that he did. He all the times, or most of the times, he mentioned the word obsessive and being obsession and being obsessive. I'm sorry, about the things that you really like, and it's pretty clear that Job Lacob has done a pretty good job about a pretty good job of building a championship team, and that's the thing that he said, that from this point on, he only wanted to win championships. He doesn't care about the money. So it's really great to hear that from the head of the snake, in this case, the owner. He also mentions that he doesn't think that it's pretty fair that the luxury tax applies the same way to them as it would be to a team that is focused on signing free agents and giving them max contracts. So I also Draymond also mentioned this, um, and I also think it's very very important for them to at least speak their minds about these topics, because all of the core of the Golden State Warriors have been drafted. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Stephen Curry are homegrown. So that's the difference between, like I said, a team that goes into the market and tries to sign the biggest superstars, or to form a super team that way by signing players that are not grown in that particular organization. Another thing is that I have to give credit, and times it's like times validates what you said in the past. In this case of Joe Lakoff, he said in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, he said that the organization was light years ahead of the other ones, and that's proven. That's been proven that they are light years ahead, because they are the only team that has three players that I can say that they were not really part of the championship journey last season. And these three players are Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody. We saw these three players in the summer league. They were playing really well, especially Wiseman. His potential of being a big man here in the Golden State Warriors system is pretty incredible. Obviously, Kuminga with his raw athleticism, and Moody with his versatility and his 3-point shooting is very important. But if you think about it, Golden State is the only thing that you can remove this that would be willing to do a trade with the Brooklyn Nets and include young talent and still be able to compete for titles. So I think that's very important in terms of the dedication that the organization in starting at the top puts in order to win championships. Another thing that I wanted to talk was the Rudy Gobert deal. I haven't listened to the Brian Windhorst's podcast, but I saw a clip where he mentions that a lot of people around the league have been bitching about the way Danny Ainge gets away with these type of deals. Um, so that's really important if you look with some perspective. That Gobert deal was a win-win situation for both franchises, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Jazz. The Jazz got back a lot of first-round picks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves got a defensive presence in the paint, a three-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert, which in the last playoff they really lacked defensive, and they lack a defensive an identity, and now they get better on that side of the ball. So we will see what happens with that franchise. But that Rudy Gobert deal being a win-win situation for the franchise that I mentioned before. It was a win situation for the whole league because they set the price so high, because the Minnesota Timberwolves were willing to pay that price, that any deal surrounding Kevin Durant won't be able to satisfy the Brooklyn Nets unless they get like three good players and like 6, 7 first round picks. So that won't happen, and I like I said before, like I said on my page, I said that I think Kyrie and or not maybe Kyrie for certain, but Kevin Durant will be back in Brooklyn, and because he has 4 years in his deal, this has been a current situation, a recurrent theme of players asking out after signing their extensions. It happened with, from the top of my head, I don't remember the exact names, but I will try to do it. It was Harden, it was Westbrook, it was Paul George, Young Wall, KD, Ben Simmons, Harden. Those are the names that, with 1 or less years on their deals, they asked out and set the precedent for players to have this type of power, that some people have been critical of, and but for me it's not a problem. I listened to the Malcolm Brogdon podcast with it's not his podcast, but he was the guest on the Wash podcast. We obviously know Wash. He's a newsbreaker, and Malcolm Brogdon was asked what was his opinion about the power that players have in this league, and he said that it was a beautiful thing. So him obviously, Malcolm Brogdon, the new Boston Celtics player, and being a VC of the league, he said that it was a beautiful thing, but obviously it's a two-edged sword where the players sometimes have to be able to realize that they have to take the deal that they signed seriously and fulfilled it. That was something that Adam Silver also mentioned, speaking to the media, that it's not a good look for the media, not for the media, I'm sorry, for a league that a superstar of Kevin Durant's caliber is asking out of Brooklyn. So it's also it puts Durant in a tougher situation, trying to be traded, trying to ask out of Brooklyn. But that's very, very intriguing. Maybe I will touch the Goran Dragic comments. He mentioned that, speaking to a Slovenian reporter in his country, obviously. He said that playing in Brooklyn was very challenging because some players were more concerned about individual stats over the team's success. I think in some type of way, we can say that was true, but in other ways we can also say that Durant is not a selfish player. But some KD's fanboys like Skip Bayless keep bringing that Kevin Durant had a great series against Bucks, and he almost beat him. And if it wasn't for his toenail being on the line, they would have won the championship. But obviously that's something that the fanboys of KD try to say to make his legacy not look worse or not look as impressive as it was after winning those back-to-back finals MVPs and those back-to-back championships. Obviously he has not won a championship since 2018. That's obviously a lot of time, and we'll see if KD is able to come back to Brooklyn. to do something special there. He has to be healthy, and we'll see what happens with Kyrie. Obviously, they have Ben Simmons there, a player that is afraid of taking shots, afraid of dunking the basketball. We saw the repercussions of him not of him I'm sorry of him passing the ball against Atlanta, and we'll see what happened with him also. So it's a very interesting situation there in Brooklyn. But for me, if they are both back, I can't say they are the favorites. I gotta put Milwaukee over them, the Celtics over them, even Miami maybe over them. So that's important. And I think that would be the first ever episode of Mario Operandi podcast. Why I choose this name. I chose it because we know that MO is an acronym for modus operandi, but I switched it to Mario's Operandi. So that's the explanation behind the name of my podcast, on my the other my on my podcast in English. So that was it. Thank you very much to everyone. My name is Mario. Maybe tomorrow I will be doing another episode. I think obviously I did a lot of misspellings and mistakes here. I will try to improve. But overall, I think I did pretty well. Um, Obviously, there are things that I can improve on, but I promise you guys, I'm gonna get better at this. Like Kobe said, that he saw Michael and Magic doing unbelievable things, and like I told you guys, the guys that I look up to, that like quote unquote mentors. I saw them doing unbelievable things. Bill Simmons, Chris Broussard. So I saw them. I saw them do. I see them doing a lot of unbelievable things, and let's see if I can do that. And I can do them too. So thank you very much for being here. This is the first ever episode. Tomorrow, like I said, I will be doing another one because I have also a job interview on Monday, and the most probable thing is that I will be asked some questions, and I know that I am ready. Obviously, I do a lot of listening work. I spend a lot of my day listening to different podcasts, and obviously, I've enjoyed a lot doing my show in Spanish, but obviously doing this in English is different. But I think I overall, I felt pretty comfortable, and obviously I will try to learn, and like I said, guys, I will get better at this. Thanks for the support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This thing will only get bigger, and thank you very much for your support. So see you guys. This is the first ever episode of Mario Operandi show, and I will be back tomorrow. I will also be uploading my number seventh player on my top 10 list of all time. So far I've revealed 3 players. Number 10, Bill Russell. Number 9, Stephen Curry. Number 8, Shaquille O'Neal. So check that out, guys. Tomorrow I will be uploading that my seventh player on my list. So thank you very much to everyone. I hope you enjoy it. It might sound a little bit boring at the beginning because I'm talking about myself, and I don't really like talking about myself too much. I'm more comfortable talking about basketball and other things, but I think it was necessary to talk about that part of my journey and of my journey doing this and being interested in basketball. I started watching basketball in 2016. When I was younger, I only played soccer here in Chile, but I started paying attention in 2016 to basketball. So I think I've been getting better and better about analyzing the game, understanding the game, um, and sometimes teaching about the game, which is really important. So thank you very much. I think I've said that like eight of seven times. So thank you very much to everyone. So I will be back tomorrow. See ya. Peace.